By now, you've probably heard about the female pilot that crashed in Washington, D.C. into an American Airlines airplane, costing the lives of 67 people.
Crashing this plane.
Well, what you probably haven't heard is that the media lied to you. The media lied to all of us. That the real reason she crashed this plane
Terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
is that she was being a total girl boss.
Will you two shut up? People are trying to sleep.
Вона собі шоколадку купила. Задумала мені дуже шоколад.
Hey guys, gals, and pals, Mr. Obvious here, and today we really need to talk about this story, because it turns out we were lied to. An investigation has revealed that the female pilot who killed 67 people after crashing a Blackhawk into a passenger plane in DC in January was told repeatedly by her male co-pilot to turn before the collision. But what did she do? Well, she didn't heed his warnings.
Stop trying to defy the laws of physics!
Be quiet.
Now here's the important part, because I've been seeing a lot of people online, like Tim Pool, actually post what I can only describe as total cope.
There were rumors that this was an intentional collision when the collision first happened. The president, many people were speculating that this Blackhawk pilot was intending to fly into the path of oncoming air traffic. Don't know what to believe. I find it all hard to believe. This pilot was instructed twice. Instead, went straight for the plane. But I don't know how you rectify those facts in this story.
Well, Tim Pool, I've actually got an answer for you. It's called Occam's razor.
Occam's razor is a principle in academic research that says, all things being equal, the simplest explanation is probably the correct one.
I've actually got a much simpler explanation, Tim Pool. She was being a girl boss and didn't want men to mansplain to her how to fly the helicopter.
When incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day. Don't, I will get called.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Me too.
Just literally get so I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
But here's the irony of it, folks. Not only did she ignore her more experienced male co-pilot, not only did she ignore her air traffic controller, not only is it thought that she actually ignored and pressed a button for the radio. Literally, like he was talking, he was telling her, this is what you gotta do. She went beep, and then began like talking on the radio to some other person. Irresponsible behavior, got everybody killed. All of that aside, the ironic part is that she was actually on her annual piloting evaluation to make sure that her skills were up to snuff. Unfortunately, that evaluation did not happen sooner because her string of blunders have caused, like quite literally, the deadliest aviation disaster since 9/11. Oh yeah, it ain't 7/11. You gotta add 2. Let's roll that footage. Oh no, can't show that on a Christian board. Now the reason that I'm bringing all of this up is because I think we need to have a really, really important conversation. Number one, when this first happened, the media refused to talk about this, literally hiding her name and refusing to tell who she was. I actually did a bit of digging into this, and what do you know it, there she is standing right next to Joe Biden. This was an absolutely horrific disaster that cost a lot of people's lives, loved ones, and families to unfortunately be lost. So let's break it down. The media hid her name, didn't want to release it for 4 months, and I'm just going to tell you what I think, my opinion, my analysis on this. I think the media didn't want people to say, oh, look, another female pilot, another DEI hire.
Please disperse. Nothing to see here.
And at first, I kind of felt that way too, I'm going to be honest, but I didn't know what to, what to say. I didn't even know who the pilot was. I didn't know they were a Biden appointee, and, he's not known for DEI hiring or anything. He would never do that.
No,
Biden.
there's my friend. He wouldn't do that.
Very important thing I told my daughter and granddaughters, no serious guys who are 30. No serious guys who are 30.
But unfortunately, it kind of looks like this is what happened. Now, the woman is Captain Rebecca Lobach. Her co-pilot was Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Lloyd Eves, and I just want to name him because I want to say, like, sorry to his family, and I've seen a lot of cope over this story with the media basically running defense for her. You know, trying to say that she's an aviation officer, she was in the Army in 2019, she's got like 500 hours of flying experience. Well, the amount of negligence on this flight, I think pretty much points down to her being a DEI hire. Now, all this being said, I don't actually believe for 1 second that she meant to crash into that plane. I know some people have been speculating on it. I think you don't need to go that far at all. I think this is a simple case of a woman deciding that she didn't want to listen to men because they were mansplaining. She was having a girl boss moment, and she decided that she knew better. She wasn't going to listen to those men because those men were just being isms and igots and whatever other terms we want to use these days. I think that she genuinely thought, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to listen to these silly men.
Women.
Now, I'm not going to get into a big lecture about biology, but for the sake of this discussion, I'll pretty much keep it to the basics. The male and female brain are basically wired differently. So male brains, for example, have more connections between the front and back of the brain. You know, scientists theorize that this is why men are better at spatial skills and motor control, muscles. Think about like throwing a rock and hitting a deer in the head.
Open the door or I'm gonna throw rocks through your windows.
Or being a really good race car driver. Men are typically better at those kinds of things. For the female brain, they have way more neural connections that go from one side of the brain to the other side of the brain. Scientists theorize this could account for women's better verbal skills, intuition, and reading body language, for example.
Black is node.
Now, these are just basic facts. I'm not here to debate about gender, but these are things that we basically already know. Now, big disclaimer here, of course, I'm not saying that women can't be pilots. I'm not saying they can't even be really great pilots. So the point is, DEI is very dangerous because if you're going to give people a job just because, oh, they're female and you gotta have a female on the team, that's not necessarily a good thing because they might not be ready. They might not be ready, like they may need more practice.
You must be swift as a coursing river.
And that actually brings us to a very, very important question. Why didn't the co-pilot, despite being kind of her teacher basically, why didn't he prevent the accident? Well, for that, I'm gonna take you over to 4chan. I want to read you a post on 4chan that I thought was actually making a really good point. How come the co-pilot didn't act sooner? Isn't he the one responsible? Again, this is a person from Canada, so...
Leave!
They're not exactly arguing in good faith. That being said, an admin here has a really good reply. He says, let's say that the co-pilot averted disaster, like he grabs the plane, he forces her to do what he wants. Well, he would avert the disaster would be prevented, thus it would never happen. The flight evaluation is over and has to be done because he interfered. She's gonna whine, she's gonna complain, go to her superiors because she's going to believe in her mind that she did nothing wrong and that she was gonna totally ace this test if he had not interfered because, again, she's a girl boss, she can do it all. This is the narrative that feminism has taught girls in the United States, and I think it's really dangerous in a lot of ways because now she's dead and so are 67 other people. When people talk about these issues, like, you're just trying to be mean to women. No, we're trying to help women and protect women. Maybe sometimes from themselves. It goes the other way around too. Men need women to protect them from themselves a lot of times. This is what Annan is talking about. When men save women from themselves or from a mistake. I won't put it that way. A mistake that they're making, they don't get any credit. In fact, they are blamed. And so as Annan says, he would get court-martialed. He will try to argue that he was trying to prevent the collision because the female pilot wasn't listening to instructions. She would say, nuh-uh, I was going to move, but he was mansplaining the whole time. And he was intentionally interfering and trying to fail me unfairly because I'm a woman, right? That's what she would have said. He would get dishonorably discharged. For those of you who aren't familiar with the military, dishonorably discharged basically means you are fired and you are kicked out with shame, dishonor. And that would be like a permanent mark on your whole life. Like you would lose your license and you will never be allowed to be a pilot again. And then your only hope is a job at McDonald's. It's a no-win scenario. And that pretty much says it all. Now, just to finish off this video, I want to talk about something that people were saying on X that, at the time, honestly kind of blew my mind. It's the idea that women would literally rather die than admit to making a mistake or being incorrect or being wrong. Going over here on X, there's a user named HOEmath. It's actually a pretty famous channel on YouTube. It's pretty funny. And it talks about like men and women and understanding genders, understanding gender relations. I honestly, as someone passionate about psychology, I know a lot about psychology. I question some of HMath's videos and his conclusions about how women and men work. But, you know, for the most part, I think he does a really good job of basically explaining these sorts of concepts to everyday people. I want to read what he said here. Most women would rather feel right than be right. This one crashed a plane and killed 70 people so that she didn't have to listen to toxic male privilege. That's a pretty strong statement, although I'm kind of inclined to agree. We already know the full story now. She literally ignored multiple men who tried to correct her, tried to help her, and tried to save all of their lives. And she said, I'm not going to listen to you. She even literally pressed the button to cut off the worker working in the control tower. Okay, so I'll just paraphrase. Basically, he goes on to say, you know, you put women in charge and bad things happen because they don't want to listen to men who give them the ick. And with that, I actually agree. Not necessarily that like they can't be in charge. That's not what I'm saying. I agree with the idea that women won't listen to men that they don't like or don't respect. But you think about the consequences this has on a societal scale. The fact that women vote but don't have to sign up for the draft, unlike men who have to sign up for the draft, I think has basically completely set Western civilization kind of just flying off a cliff. And we already know, like elections, women just vote Democrat. They vote Democrat. They vote left wing. Vote blue no matter who. And for the longest time, I've asked myself, why are they voting for the party that increases crime? No cash bail, no punishments for criminals, basically just letting people run and hurt people, burn down cities and loot. Why would they keep voting Democrat? Because Democrats are the one doing those things. They keep voting Democrat. They keep voting left wing. And this isn't just true in America. It's true all over the world. To be fair, this isn't true of like Eastern Europe. Polish women, Finnish women, probably way more conservative than people over here. But it's still a pretty big problem. And this leads you to a very, very scary conclusion. What if our society, what if our countries, what if the United States, what if the world is the helicopter? And since women, again, are able to vote and able to be equal in every single way, plus more, since they have many, many privileges in modern society, what if they say, look, I'm trying to turn so that we don't hit the mountain, we don't go off the cliff, or whatever the case may be. You have to turn with me, please. Turn right. We have to turn right. And she says, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Everyone died. The end.
Because that's literally what happened, my friends. Oh, you thought I was going on a tangent. You thought this analogy and this example had nothing to do with the story. Actually, it does. This was the last communication that the Blackhawk sent 15 seconds before it crossed paths with the airline's flight. Warrant Officer Eves turned his attention to Captain Lobach. He told her he believed that the air traffic controller, which, remember, she cut him off, wanted them to turn left, towards the East Riverbank. Turning left would have opened up more space between the helicopter and Flight 5342, which was heading for runway 33 at an altitude of roughly 300 feet. She did not turn left. But that, my friends, is merely the obvious. Actually, it took me a really long time to get this video together, so I'm gonna have to be uploading it right away, basically. Like, in the middle of the night, no one's gonna see it. It's like probably days old. But I really thought this was an important discussion to have because nobody I know that I follow is really talking about it. Like, people on X are talking about it, but nobody's talking about it on YouTube or Rumble or any other platforms. So you know what? I will, you know, that's what I do. If you want to support the work I do, please join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. Doing so will give you access to Fight Club. It's a private Discord server where I and many other very, very cool people hang out. If you could join like the $2.99 tier, that would be really good because, you know, these platforms, they take their cut. But by all means, pick anything you want. I'm just happy for the support. And as always, sharing videos, showing them to family and friends, posting them on other social media sites. I don't really have a big Facebook presence, so honestly, if somebody wanted to like start a Facebook page for me, you have my full permission. Like, if you wanna make me a Facebook page and like grow it, and I don't even care if you make money on it, by all means, go ahead. Like, I don't even know how to use Facebook, so there you go. Like, if you want to build a page for me, feel free. You have my blessing. Anyhow, been a long day. I hope this video, you know, it's a little bit spicy, I think. Hopefully it wasn't too spicy. I try to keep the power level, you know? Don't want to be too much of a based boy. Enjoy your evening, folks. Have a great day. Guys, gals, and pals. This has been Mr. Obvious, and I'm not afraid to bring you the obvious.